I am the Kaiju no Kami, and we are going to continue with today's review, Son of Kong. After the success of King Kong, RKO immediately put a sequel into production that was released 9 months later. It was a rush job that Marion C. Cooper really had no part of and was solely directed by Schoedsack. Willis O'Brien returned to do the effects work, as minimal as it was. Unfortunately, because the scriptwriter knew it could never top King Kong, she decided to make it a more lighthearted and funnier movie, which was ultimately part of its downfall. But is Son of Kong really worthy of being deemed one of the worst sequels of all time? The movie picks up a month after Kong's demise, and Carl has been receiving countless lawsuits for the destruction Kong caused. He is also being hounded by numerous news journalists trying to get a story out of him. He sneaks back to the SS Venture, where Captain Englehorn offers him a job to become a trader with him in the West Indies, which Carl graciously accepts. They arrive in Kong and watch a show that has monkeys playing musical instruments and a woman named Helene with a terrible singing voice.
I need some rest.
Her father, the owner of the show, is accidentally killed by a former associate of Carl named Niles Hallstrom. Helene, or Hilda, as she is known in the credits, is played by Helen Mack, while John Marston...
My name's John Marston.
Wrong John Marston, portrays Hellstrom. Carl talks to Hilda about her career and, my god.
He was hurt. He's dead.
Whoa, what a tough break.
Can she even try to show some emotion?
We just had a few monkeys.
Hellstrom is the one who originally gave Carl the map to Kong's Island, and he asks Carl for help.
But Denham, when you got Kong off that island, didn't you get the treasure? What? Didn't you find the treasure? Find it? Well, I never even heard of it. Say, are you kidding me? No, why should I? To tell the truth, I had an idea I'd go and look for it myself someday.
Oh yeah, those eyes are so convincing that only people in a movie would believe it.
Look, the answer to a prayer. We're off again.
Oh, they did. Carl tells Hilda goodbye, and when she asks to come with him, he refuses. Sure enough, she snuck on board the ship, and then the crew mutinies against Englehorn.
Captain, I wish to report a mutiny.
When they arrive in the waters around the island and send the trio on their merry way. The cook from the previous movie, Charlie, joins them, and the crew also throws Hallstrom overboard as well.
Yo-ho!
The group makes it to shore when they are greeted by the natives with hostility and are forced to find another part of the island to land on. Carl and Hilda set out to explore the area and end up helping a white-collar 12-foot gorilla escape from quicksand.
Animals always know when you're trying to help them.
Animals know when a human is trying to help it. So no animal has ever attacked a person that was trying to help it. Right. Englehorn, Charlie, and Hellstrom briefly meet up with Carl and then head out to explore more of the island, where they find themselves being chased by a Styracosaurus. At the same time, Carl and Hilda are being attacked by a giant bear as they are trying to find an entrance into a temple. Little Kong attacks it, and we get to watch some hilarious antics from the ape in between the battle. He beats the bear off with a stick, and little Kong hurt his finger, so Carl bandages it up. Morning comes to pass, and Little Kong helps Carl break open the entrance to the temple, where he finds a necklace made out of diamonds. Little Kong accidentally breaks his shotgun, and then another meat-eating baby brontosaurus just happens to enter the cave in a rampant rage, and Little Kong has to beat him senseless. What was that? Come on. I know you were going for a more lighter and comedic tone, but this is ridiculous. Hellstrom sees the massive gorilla and freaks out. He runs over to the boat and tries to take off when he is eaten by a plesiosaurus. Suddenly a typhoon breaks out.
The self-destruct sequence has been activated. Repeat, the self-destruct sequence has been activated. This sequence may not be aborted. All employees proceed to the emergency car at the bottom platform.
The island is swallowed up by the ocean. Little Kong sacrifices himself to save Carl, and the drifting group is rescued by another ship. Finally, Hilda and Carl get together and agree to split the value of the diamond necklace.
We'll split the treasure 4 ways.
Couldn't you just split it 3 ways? 1/3 to the skipper, 1/3 to Charlie, and 1/3 to us?
It's all right.
Hilda? I don't know if you know this, but if each of you got a 4th, and then you and Carl combined your pieces, you guys would have a lot more treasure than splitting it into thirds. It's not like this movie makes a lick of any sense to begin with. I like the idea of Carl facing consequences for Kong's destruction, but how exactly was it his fault? That would be like suing the weatherman for a tornado leveling a city. It's not something he could have had total control over. Sure, he did bring the monster to the city, but how did he know that it was going to break out of his chrome steel chains? Does a zoo get sued if a lion breaks out and kills someone? Wait, don't answer that. The island just suddenly being attacked by a typhoon that utterly destroys it until it's gone makes no sense either. There wasn't any sort of indication any such thing was possible, and it just feels forced, as if the filmmakers ran out of time to write an ending, so they just made one up that was quick and tidied everything up with a bow. What about the natives? Did they all die? Did they make it out? Did they know this was going to happen one day? Was it the treasure that caused it? If so, why didn't the island start to self-destruct sooner than it did? None of this makes any sense. The rest of the plot is pretty bad too, because the movie drags on way too long. It takes 40 minutes to even get to the island, and then the last half hour is so bland that makes the whole adventure seem inane. The special effects were as impressive as they were in King Kong, but they are barely there. Hell, Little Kong has maybe 4 minutes of screen time in the entire movie tops. Thankfully, O'Brien still seemed to be giving it his all because they still look fantastic. It's just a shame the movie lacks the atmosphere the predecessor brought. There is just way too much comedy and stupidity going on that just doesn't feel like it belongs in the same universe. On the other hand, I do applaud those with this production for trying to do something different, so it does get some points there. Sadly, it feels like Max Steiner was just reusing the same score over, which was highly disappointing.
Well, Skipper, now that the fog's lifted, do you see anybody?
Not a living thing.
Funny they haven't spotted us. I'd think the whole population would be on the beach.
Listen.
Finally, the characters are pretty lackluster too. We do get a little more development for Carl, which was nice, along with Engelhorn, but it feels shoehorned in. He seems to be out of character from how he was portrayed previously. Hilda and Hellstrom add nothing to the plot, as Hilda is just there to give Carl motivation. At least she wasn't a damsel in distress, but she didn't do anything important either. It was interesting to meet the man who gave Carl the map to the island originally, but come on! Who would be so stupid enough to fall for this man's antics?
Who's got 2 thumbs and betrayed his best friend? This guy!
He was an A-class unlikable scumbag, and thankfully the crew was not dumb enough to follow his command after he got them to rebel against Engelhorn. Son of Kong is just a boring, pointless sequel that adds nothing new to the King Kong mythos and was only made to make a quick buck. There's just way too much comedy thrown into it, and the sense of wonder with the island is gone. There were some good ideas I did like in the movie, especially with Carl, but ultimately this movie fails. Do not waste your time with it unless you have to see it. Well, that is all the time I have for this episode. I shall return with another King Kong movie. Bye.
Look for the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife.